I'm not really on the ledge. I'm not about to jump. I'm not despairing. I see this ongoing corruption and destruction of our economy and our democracy, or our republic, if you prefer to use, the Joe McCarthy approved phrase for the United States. I see the ongoing destruction of this as a process that is going to hit the wall at some point, and we are damn close to it. And that point is when a critical mass of American primary voters and a critical mass of American activists, whether they be conservatives or progressives or liberals, say enough, damn it, we've had enough. And I think we are very, very close to that. That's the essence of my book, The Crash of 2016. And in fact, I'm suggesting how it probably will play out. So I don't need to be talked off the ledge, although I am seriously PO'd today. And so anyhow, speaking of talking people off the ledge, Jeff, you're always good at it. Talk us all off the ledge.
I've got a list of hope for I've got a list of hope for those in despair.
Okay, Jeff in Denver, you're on the air, Jeff.
Yeah, can you hear me, Tom?
I hear you just fine. Go for it.
Okay. I've got a list of hope for those in despair, but I wanted to present two memes, though, you may like, for this lazy, unfair capitalism we have. One is Warfare Queens.
Warfare Queens, I love it.
And the other one is this TPP is a corp d'etat.
A corp d'etat. That's great. That's one that you have to be a certain minimum level of literacy to get. But yeah.
Well, we can bring people up.
There you go.
So for those who think we're at a hopeless point, just one thing I always want to remind people is 3 months and 9 days. I think you already know what that means.
Yeah, you're talking about the 27th Amendment or 26th?
Yeah, it only took 3 months and 9 days to get a constitutional amendment introduced and passed, ratified by all the states. That was the 18 right to vote.
Right.
So in 1963 or so, things looked really bad. We had the Cuyahoga River catching on fire, the Vietnam War was starting, racism, poverty, etc. And we didn't even have the communication abilities we have today, such as cell phones, the internet. Right. So in just that short, little bit more than a decade, we got the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, the 18-year-old right to vote. We got rid of Nixon, ended the Vietnam War, got to the moon. We got the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, EPA, NEPA, which is the National Environmental Policy Act, Endangered Species Act, the Marine Mammals Protection Act, the Wilderness Act, Great Society, where we reduced poverty by 20%. We got Medicare, Medicaid, welfare, Head Start, the Peace Corps, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So we can do a lot. We did a hell of a lot in a short time.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely
right. We can do it again.
I absolutely agree, Jeff, and that's why I'm just constantly saying to people, Bernie Sanders is absolutely right that it's going to take a movement. Movements are more powerful than billionaires. It's just that you have to have the movement.
Yeah, we changed the world in the 60s.
Yes.
And a lot of that is still here today. They're trying to dismantle it.
Yeah.
But the whole thing that you see, all these natural food stores and organic food, the 60s were successful in many ways. Mm-hmm. We used to call people in wheelchairs invalid. We called them invalids.
Right.
Now look at you can go bicycling with somebody in a hand cart. You can go skiing with a one-legged person.
Yeah.
We've really changed the world. In many ways we failed, but we've also done some wonderful things.
Yep.
And we can do it again really quickly in just a few short years.
I agree. And that's, I think the move to amend thing, David Cobb was on, 6-8 months ago, we were talking about this, and he said he sees it as a 5-year battle. I think the time scale for all of these things is being radically compressed as more and more Americans figure out what the hell's going on. And the internet's a big variable in that. People are getting news off the internet that the big networks will not touch. You will never see the big networks talk about, for example, net neutrality. I mean, right now there's these lawsuits against the government over net neutrality from these big internet service providers. No discussion of it in the media. No discussion Go ahead.
My suggestion now is we start writing the legislation ourselves and hand it to the legislators. So right now, why don't we have a Democracy Day? As Bernie proposes, National Voting Day should be a holiday.
Right.
And so we can start doing all sorts of things. We can write our own legislation for single-payer health care and things like that. So why not have open-source law writing? And I'm proposing something we call the Laboratory.
Wow.
And we start writing things.
A wiki of sorts. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes.
Open source
and we have certain rules, like laws can't be more than 11 pages or things like that. They have to be about single issues, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
We could do simple things. People can do it, and we can do it internationally, propose laws for all around the world. So we can take over. And as like somebody said, I saw something on Facebook about these are our leaders. No, they're not our leaders. They are our representatives. They don't call it the House of Leaders. They call it the House of Representatives.
Correct. The word leadership and leaders does not appear anywhere in any of our founding documents or in the Constitution. It's always representatives. You're absolutely
So why don't we provide them with something to represent?
Yeah.
It's up to us.
Yeah.
We're the ones who waste energy. We're the ones who don't vote, and so forth. So it's like I saw a great cartoon today. It was someone saying gambling and buying a lottery ticket and so forth. They're saying, hey, if you don't play, you don't win. And then they said, oh, I'm not going to vote, though. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Amazing.
You know, our thinking is backwards. If you don't think your vote counts, that's all the more reason to vote, because it will count more if more people vote.
Yeah, if elections don't matter and votes don't count, then why are the Koch brothers putting almost $1 billion into the next election? Elections are mind-bogglingly consequential.